No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by PlayNow, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. Pardon me, the Illegal Curve post-game show, to be more exact, where we're here to discuss the LA Kings defeating the Winnipeg Jets 2-1 in overtime, a game where you got to see the stifling, smothering style of the LA Kings on display for much of the 60 minutes of action. The Jets, of course, get a late power play goal to send the game into overtime, where the Kings, on the strength of an Adrian Kempe OT winner, defeat the Winnipeg Jets. Along with Dave Manouk and Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss tonight's contest. Special guest to join us off the start. Pickles for me, pickles for you. Eric Hawerchuk, welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. How are you?
What's up, boys?
How are things? Welcome to Winnipeg. Nice of you to fly in for Connor Hellebuyck night tonight.
Absolutely. No, I thought it was a great game. I don't think anyone emptied the tank tonight because we're going on back-to-backs tomorrow. So I think the Avalanche on deck. I think it means a little more, especially after last year in the playoffs. So I'm okay with getting a point out of tonight, and I just hope the boys bring it tomorrow.
Well, it certainly wasn't the most riveting of hockey games that we've ever seen. LA does a really good job of just stifling everything and shutting everything down. I mean, that is their MO. That's what's their secret to success has been so far this season. We saw it back in LA. Was that in October or November where they defeated the Jets by that 4-1 margin?
Yeah, it was the end of November. Yeah,
end of November. And you saw it very much so tonight as well. Really, there was not a lot of space out there for the Jets to move. Fortunately, when you have the top power play, the LA Kings played with fire just one too many times, and Scheifele was able to tie it up in that third period goal, Eric.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think the Kings play a super structured defensive game. They always do. That's kind of always been their MO, and they're always going to play everyone tough. And I think, it's middle of the season, middle of a home game stretch. This is just kind of I think everyone after that incredible start we had, it's just easy to kind of get on the boys at times, but I really believe in this team. This team just seems like, and I'm not just saying that, okay? I'm telling you, I really believe in this team. It seems like everyone's playing for each other more than themselves. It seems like everyone's reached a point in their career where they're maybe less worried about points and they're more worried about wins, and grinding out that point tonight, losing may feel kind of like we left something on the table, but honestly, those points add up come April, and I think that was honestly a good game.
I think I was just going to say, Eric, I think you make a really good point about grinding out a point, and Connor had a couple good chances in overtime, so we could easily be talking about a Jets win. It's not like, they didn't have any chances in overtime. And what did you think of Scheif scoring the tying goal, considering he took those two penalties, one of which I think you'd agree was a little suspect?
Absolutely. I have Scheifele on my fantasy team, and we get half points for penalty minutes. So I was kind of like, okay, I guess if anyone's going to the box, that's fine. And then for him to tie it, it was as good of a night as he could have for me, I guess. But we could have used one more. And honestly, I think when I'm talking about players that have developed, I mean, Scheifele is really, really good now. I think everyone in the league kind of fears him as a player, and he's right up there with the best in the league. And I couldn't be more proud of this team. Honestly, just start of the year, there were some questions about how good we were going to be, and all of a sudden we come out of the gate again, just like last year, and we're really, really good. And I'm very proud to be a Winnipeg Jets fan.
I got to ask you, Eric, were you coming in, for these two games already, or did you decide to come in when they announced that it was going to be they were going to salute Connor Hellebuyck and everything else?
I might have already had a flight booked, but then, I knew it was getting close to the 300 wins for Connor. So I was kind of like, you know what, I'm definitely this would be a good weekend to go and sure enough, it worked out perfect that I was able to be here for a very cool night and one of the best Jets in our history of the city. And yeah, could not be more deserving of all the accolades he gets.
Eric, what does that mean to you? I mean, you're obviously the son of one of the greatest Jets to ever play, to wear a Jets jersey, of course. And so when you see the accolades, the love that Connor Hellebuyck was getting from the crowd, what does that mean to you for someone whose dad, of course, received that kind of love from this city?
I think it's well deserving, because I think especially in the league today, there's a lot of enticing markets out there. And I think guys, who stay here, I think the people and the fans appreciate it. And, I think those guys who have spent time here love this city because it's an amazing place. And I think they realize that. And for those guys to sign here long term has really, really meant a lot to the franchise. And to me as a fan, I could not be more excited to have Scheifele and Hellebuyck sign those deals last year and lock them up. And I think we're going to be really good for a long time.
Well, certainly based on the performance so far to start the season, the trajectory is looking upwards, and no reason to think that's not going to continue. Obviously, not at the same level of the 15-1, but still, top the Central Division with tonight's victory. So that's a good feeling to have. I'm sure you've already started looking at playoff seats and flights back for playoff games and things of that nature. Maybe a little cart before the horse, but things are looking like positive in that area.
Yeah. Playoff time, they stopped the direct flights to Phoenix for Winnipeg. So, but I got no problem connecting to come up here for some playoffs. And I would love to come multiple times. I was able to come for my first 2 whiteouts last year. What an incredible experience that was. I've never felt energy like that. And I kind of got to the first game late and I sat down in the second period and I was just looking around and I was like, I really hope I get to see a goal. And I sit down and boom, we score right away and the place just erupts. I'll never forget that moment. It's a special thing. And like Pat McAfee, like his show, he talks about coming up here. I really think he might come. I'm gonna start tweeting at him, get him to come up because I we have business to take care of before we get there. So, but there's nothing like the playoffs and honestly, just having this team back for all those years that we didn't have one, it's special to me and special to my family.
And for very good reason. I mean, I'm sure it must be, it's emotional for Jets fans just to walk past the statue. So it must be even more emotional for you, given that it's your dad and the legacy that he leaves here in Winnipeg and that it continues on. I'm sure it must be very special for you and your family and everybody else.
I get absolute chills every time I walk by it. Even when I see it in pictures, and I walked by it today and there's people taking pictures in front of it. And I'm trying not to get emotional right now. And honestly, it is very, very cool. They did not have to do that. But the people of Manitoba and the Jets organization have been so incredibly kind to my family. They were always so kind to my dad. And, we have nothing but love for this city. And obviously with the foundation, we're running our game day experience program and we're sending kids who otherwise might not get to go to games. So we're trying to make an impact and give back a little bit to a fraction of what the province has given us. And I could not be more proud to have had my dad have this legacy here in Winnipeg.
Beautiful. Eric, hold that thought. We have Scott Arneal joining us on the program now from the Matt Frost Media Center.
Profile would change, especially down one. Where are you at in terms of seeing your team's growth and playing the right way all the way through?
Yeah, I think that's always something. We've been learning that lesson for the last couple of years. I think that we've had a few this year where we stayed patient and not let it become a 2-0, 3-0 game, and that's all you can do. You have to wait for your moments sometimes, and we spent a lot of time in their end. We just had to continue to grind and hope that either it was a goal or it was a power play situation, and we got that. And I just I like the way we played that game.
Just one on the OT goal. It looked like your guys had been on a while. They were trying to change. They might have had a schmozzle at their bench. What did you see?
Yeah, they got off in time. We weren't sure about that, but we were trying to do the same thing, and the puck came out to the weak side obviously pretty quick, and you get caught. That's the problem there when you're trying to make those changes. It's almost like who gets there first type thing.
Where did Dylan Samberg have his biggest impact in the game, Scott?
Wow, I think there was a lot of things. Obviously, he saw a lot of minutes against their top players, and you saw his ability to close and take away space. I like the way, just how fast, actually all our D, I thought they did a good job on transition. We got going in the other direction in a hurry. I thought he did that well. Obviously penalty kill, that he's going to be a big key there, and you saw it. So there's a couple of big stops for us that way.
How important was it for him to? He gets a shot block right away. Just to kind of get
Yeah.
the first one. It gets looked like it got him in a place with no padding, but just to get in the lane.
I was hoping it was up high in the shin pads, but he's not going to shy away from that stuff. He's going to head right towards it.
Another example of Gabe having eyes in the back of his head, or did he shoulder check to find? Right
That's a little
that?
bit of the pre-scout of, you saw how hard they went. They were a lot like the other night. The pressure coming, we knew that these guys were going to come hard, and it was really you had to make a couple passes to get that one really good look, and we did. And obviously there was going to be a 2-on-1 created, and obviously a great pass by Gabe.
Scott, given your long-standing history with this city and Jets teams, how will that pregame ceremony for a guy that'll probably be in the Hall of Fame resonate with you?
Yeah, no, it's special. I said I got asked this morning about some of the things he's done. I think everybody just get prepared, because I think a lot more of these records are going to get broken. I think he's going to continue to climb. I think he's going to play for a while. He's just, when special players come around, like the guy at Edmonton, the guy in Pittsburgh, guy in Washington, for fans to be able to watch that, to be in the building, to see that on a nightly basis, that's special, and, stuff you remember.
You kind of touched on it, but what do you think your team did to kind of tilt the ice? It felt almost inevitable you guys were going to tie that up. What do you think you did to kind of take?
Well, the biggest thing is that we knew that they weren't going to give us odd man rushes. They weren't going to give us free looks. It wasn't going to be, any freebies. It was going to have to be earned. I think I just looked at it. I think we were 5-on-5. We were 5 minutes to their 3 minutes. That means we got through the neutral zone. We didn't do a great job in their building. We got pucks down below the hash marks. We didn't get a lot of quality, but at the end of the day, we did a good job of playing the right way. We got ourselves into a lot of battles and did a good job of, coming out with the puck in a lot of those. Like I said, that's as close to playoff game as I've seen us involved in so far. I think you'll see a lot of that in the second half, but that was a grind. That was an absolute grind where every shift, you're lining up, you're lining up the guy in front of you, then you're having to go, all shift long, 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
Yeah, I know the Florida game, the back-to-back was one of those ones that you kind of tuck in the back of your head and say, like, that's something we can take going into. Is this one of those similar?
Exactly what I said to the players. I said that's as close to a playoff game as we've played so far, and expect that in the second half of the season, and obviously at the end. But that's the type of hockey that you got to stay in those games. To Murat's point, you got to stay in those games. You got to give yourself a chance. You can't kind of shoot yourself in the foot, and I thought we did a real good job of that.
And last one for me, in your playing days, coaching days, have you seen situations like you've seen with Comrie where you've got such quality starts from him for as long and he just can't come away with the results?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. It's, giving them some run support to, I'd love to see us get out three or four goals and be able to do it. But again, he made some big stops. And in the third there was a couple of scrambles there, and he came up big. And yeah, I just feel for him. It's tough. I just give him a hug, and it's hard because you want to see him get that win, and it's he's been so close.
What do you expect from the Avalanche tomorrow?
Yeah, let me get through this one. I'll talk to you tomorrow. But we know what we're getting. Obviously, the division opponent, huge Central Division. They're hot on their heels. They haven't gone away, so it'll be big. Thank you.
There he goes, Jets head coach Scott Arneal joining us tonight from the Matt Frost Media Center, addressing the media after the Jets drop a 2-1 decision to the Los Angeles Kings. Eric, we don't want to keep you. If you want to stick around, you're welcome to. But if you have other places to go to, we totally understand. So we'll follow your cue. But just maybe, one last one. When you see Scott Arneal as the Jets head coach, and of course the time that your dad and Scott spent together here in Winnipeg, just does that sort of mean a little bit more than just sort of the average NHL head coach?
Yeah, of course. I've known Scott since as long as I can remember. So, my dad had incredible respect for him. They were great family friends, and later in life, he spoke at my dad's funeral. He's part of my family, So, to see him get this job, it's very deserving, and I think the players are showing that and playing hard for him night in and night out. And no, I couldn't be more happy for him and the whole organization. Honestly, he's a great guy. He's Winnipeg through and through. What else do you want?
Not much more than that. What I want is some pickles. So tell the audience. I'll get. You can do a free plug. Where do you get the pickles?
We're at we're in most co-ops. We got a limited stock left, so we're in some of the co-ops, Red River co-ops, and we're at Hargrave Street Market, DeLuca's. But I hope by next year we can be in more and more stores and we can get a bigger quantity behind us. We're trying to grow in a responsible and proper manner, and it's been a learning curve, and I think it's been fun for all of us. And honestly, they're really, really good. So I hope you get a chance to try them. And yeah.
Why pickles?
Thank you for that. But really, I'm up here to Hawerchuk Strong is kind of my baby, and that's what means a lot. And I know that would have meant a lot to my dad, and that's giving back to the community. And we're really, really trying to keep these season tickets rolling and send kids to games, and that's kind of why I'm here and trying to push that. And honestly, it's good. It's good. We got to put butts in seats, and that's what we're doing, and it's great to give it back to the community too. So
if you can put butts in seats and make core memories for some kids who might not otherwise be able to go to games, then you're really doing something enviable and something that we should all sort of rally around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are. I'm so glad this team's back, and I just want to fill the building, and I think they're putting a good product out there, and we got to support them as best we can. And yeah, it's a great place to be and live and grow up, and I'm just happy to be back here as often as possible.
Eric, if I could just jump in here for 1 second. First off, I will definitely be trying those pickles. I'm a huge pickle guy, so I'm definitely going to be picking some of those up. But I'm also going to be picking up some of that Hawerchuk Strong gear, because that logo is a 100 out of 10. It is chef's kiss. I absolutely love it. It is perfect. And I think there's a lot of other people that are seeing that, you wearing that, and they're going to pick some up as well. So just wanted to get that in there. The pickles and the Hawerchuk Strong gear for sure.
Thank you for that. No, the logo, I mean, honestly, the statue is, it's so beautiful. I was like, you know what, we got to kind of incorporate this into the foundation. And yeah, the logo kind of came out, and my buddies in Scottsdale from Neverland Country Club helped me out and came up with this hat, and Wind Dogs helped me with the hoodies and the t-shirts now. And I'm trying to keep it as local as I can. So it's awesome. And it's great to be putting some cool products out there that I'm excited about, and it's fun to do.
Well, this time of year, Scottsdale really does become Winnipeg South. There's no shortage of Winnipeggers who make their way down there to avoid some of the lousy weather and get out into some good weather. So I'm sure
you can pick them out quick. They got the shorts on when it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, in the pool.
The pale legs.
That's right.
I spot them a mile away.
Oh, you've seen my parents then, have you? You've seen them recently, have you?
I think so.
Eric, thank you for this. It's great having you jump on. You have an open invitation. Anytime you want to join us, anytime you got something you want to say, just reach out to one of us and we'll be glad to send you the link to jump on with us.
Awesome. Thank you, boys.
Can I just say one more thing to Eric?
Yeah, go for it.
Just so you know how the Hawerchuk name is revered in my home. My son, who's 5 years old, Ruben, we've got a picture hanging up in his room, framed portrait of your dad, because he needs to know the best player that ever played in this city and one of the best players to ever play the game. So just thought, no better time than now having you on the post-game show to let you know about that.
That's really, really cool. I get stories like that occasionally here, and it just blows my mind. I mean, I played pond hockey with him. I saw some of the skill. I didn't get to watch it when he was playing, but I was a goalie. He would light me up so quick on that ice. It was crazy. Crazy. I don't know why he let me be a goalie in the first place. I think he just wanted somebody to shoot on, but I saw the hands. The hands were crazy, and that means a lot, though. Every story is so cool, and it's crazy. The stories never get old, so thank you for sharing.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate
thank you
it.
for this. We'll see you. Enjoy tomorrow night's game. Enjoy the rest of your time in Winnipeg. We'll see you again soon.
Let's chat soon, boys. Take care.
All right, we'll do it again real soon.
Thanks, Eric.
Take care.
Bye, boys.
There he goes. Eric Hawerchuk, special guest this evening, Oh, I'm struggling so far this
I
evening
know.
here.
I
on the
bumped
Illegal
I
Curve
bumped into
post-game
Eric
show.
in the press box this evening, and I thought to myself, Eric Hawerchuk, got to have him on the show. We've of course talked to him before, but I thought he's in town. Plus, I mean, he knows how special as a child of the legend, what it's like to be revered in this city, his parent is to like to be revered. So I thought, especially given tonight's ceremony, he would be able to understand that. So Eric's a good dude. And so, although he didn't recognize me with my hat on, he's like, Dave, I watch the show all the time, but you're not
No, he
wearing a
didn't
hat.
recognize you without shorts on, Dave. That's what it was.
And to be perfectly honest, it's not like this was the most riveting hockey game, where we have a lot of goals to break down. Or anything.
That's why I thought Eric, talking to Eric and recounting stories about Dale. Let me tell you, Jets fans will have no problem spending our time doing that than breaking down that game, because that game was boring.
Well, that's what the LA Kings do. So, full credit to the LA Kings. And you heard Scott Arneal
That's a
saying
good Kings team, Drew.
It is a
very
good
good
Kings
team.
because they play they know exactly what they are.
Yeah.
They have no question as to what they are. We talk for years on this show, long before there was even a post-game show, on the Saturday show, where,
So how could it be on this show then?
The terrestrial radio days.
Well, we talked about identity. What is a team's identity? Every team needs an identity. They need to know what their style needs to look like to win more often than not. The LA Kings have no question about their style and their approach, and they play it very, very well. Now, is it horrible to watch and pretty boring? Yes. Are they do they resemble an old trapping team?
Say it, Drew. Say it.
I don't want to get you too excited there and talk about the Devils, but I mean, that's their style. That's their approach, and kudos to them. That it's what they need to do to succeed.
Well, they don't have a team that can play run and gun, right?
No, they don't.
Jim Hiller, don't get me wrong, Scott Arneal deserves a lot of Jack Adams consideration.
So does
I mean, if
Jim
we're
Hiller,
basing that on one half of the season, and I have time for Dean Evison, what about Marty St. Louis, by the way, boys? Montreal keeps winning, but Jim Hiller...
Rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated.
Absolutely, Dave. And Jim Hiller, like Drew said, it's not just that they're playing the right style, it's that they're playing the style almost to perfection. Like, the Jets only had, 8 or 9 shots after 2 periods, right? Like, the Kings do an excellent, and this is without Drew Doughty, their best defenseman, right?
Right. They haven't had Drew Doughty all year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes you think so this Kings team is, I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. Obviously, I wouldn't want to play the Jets in the playoffs either.
Only thing I'll say is
this Kings team has the ability to shut down, I think, any team in the league.
Yeah, but I
was just going to say that, Drew, if they ever have to play catch up, I don't think they got a chance.
Well,
they are a team that can build a lead, can suffocate you, not allow you to penetrate the middle of the ice, and which they executed for the first 40 minutes of that hockey game, and eventually the penalty troubles start. Although for a while the penalty troubles were looking like Winnipeg was suddenly the most penalized team. I think, what were the penalties, 10 or 11-1 in the last game
to the Nashville game,
and then tonight's game, and then of course LA got to the 2 penalties, which allowed Winnipeg to get back in this hockey game. But they are a well-structured team. Again, are they exciting to watch? No, they are not. They've got some good players, but they are not a particularly interesting team. I couldn't imagine watching that 82 games a year. But at the same time, look, they are winning, and it's one of the things. Well,
I was going to say, Dave, that's Kings fans might not like watching the style that they're playing, but I think that they're liking all these wins that they're piling up, right?
Well, the other thing that's worth that we've talked about a little bit, but we're at the midpoint of the season. And the Jets are one of the top teams in the Western Conference. The Capitals are one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. And the Kings, so all the teams that were involved in the Velarde,
the Pierre-Luc Dubois love triangle,
Kemper trade. But you'd think that LA, who really got hosed on this because Winnipeg did well, Washington, Dubois has been playing well. Apparently he was a beast in the game against Vancouver.
Yeah,
so Washington's been doing well. And you'd think that LA, the team that kind of got hosed, because Kemper has also been injured. I mean, he's been on IR a lot, and this isn't King's lunch, guys, but they also are still doing well. So it is interesting that
Kemper's been fantastic, Dave.
No, I know, but he's also what's that?
A win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's just very rare that you see 3 teams all having success when especially given the fact that it was seen as at least the Kings were kind of the big losers. But again, which is why you don't judge things until you've seen it play out.
Well, you know what? With the defense they have in front of their goaltending, that's and the defensive consciousness that permeates that entire team, there's a reason why they can succeed. They being the LA Kings in this instance.
Yeah.
All righty, let's get it. There's only like 3 goals to break down, so it won't
we
take
got
us long.
we got lots of time to kibitz because what are we going to break down?
We'll spend
There's not
10
a
minutes on every single goal, boys.
Well, we got to give Matty Prefontaine his kudos because
There you go.
Let's break that down.
Well, okay, let me press the button first, and then we can start.
Well, hold on. Technically, if we're talking about something that happened in the pregame, should we hit the button before or after?
Well, that's a good question. We really should have discussed that before, but for the sake of now, so I don't forget, let's hit the button, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
The PlayNow game recap.
Big thanks to our friends at PlayNow for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Don't bet on illegal sites. Bet with PlayNow instead. Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site, 18+. Enjoy responsibly. Friday night, Drew Mandel, Ezra Ginsburg, Dave Minuk with you here as we talk about the Jets' 2-1 defeat at the hands of the LA Kings in overtime. We'll get into the nitty-gritty details of this game as we go through the PlayNow game recap. Before we move forward, though, this is something we need to address. We wanted the 3 of us. So tonight, obviously, we're unable to be there because of the Jets game and because of the post-game show. But tonight is the celebration of life for our good friend Ted Wyman. As many of you may know, Ted passed away after a courageous and valiant fight with cancer. Probably about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago now is when Ted passed away, right when the Bombers were still in the midst of their playoff and Grey Cup run. Ted was the sports editor of the Winnipeg Sun for many years. He, of course, was a reporter for the Winnipeg Sun, and he was a great guy, first and foremost. He was just the life of the party. He treated us with respect and dignity from day one, even when we probably hadn't earned any respect or dignity just yet. And most people would have been saying, who are these guys? Why are they around here? Ted was never like that. He was always welcoming. He was always open. He was always just a mensch of a man. We dearly miss him, and we're so sorry that we're not able to be at the celebration for life, for his life. So we want to make mention and pay tribute to Ted, and of course dedicate tonight's post-game show to the memory of Ted, and of course to all his family and everybody else and all his loved ones who are gathered tonight to remember him. So that's just sort of our little tribute as well to Ted and his family, and just we miss him dearly, and we wish everybody nothing but the best. So I want to say that
absolutely. And Ted wanted a party, and I guarantee you that the Pyramid Cabaret is packed because Ted was a very popular guy. And like you said, Drew, I mean, it's try not to get choked up here, but we became friends with him, and I have known him dating back before the Illegal Curve Hockey Show started because I did a internship. Used to write some articles about young athletes for the Sun, and that's how I got to know Ted well over 15 years ago, probably 18 or 19 years ago at this point. And like you said, obviously, a very talented writer and editor, but just more so just a person who, he just lit up a room, right? So we miss you very much, Ted.
Yes, exactly right. Sorry,
I
Dave,
won't add too much, but I just want to, I mean, you guys have both said it well, but Ted was a great dude, really nice, always had a great time talking to him. And so, his family misses him, of course. And we miss him. Like, he was a good guy. We'd see him in the press box. We'd see him out and about. Yeah. And like you said, he always
back with him over the years, once or twice.
For sure. And like, he's, a guy who lived in River Heights. And so, we'd always say, hey fellas, and, love the Curve. So, and we loved him back. So it's just unfortunate that we weren't able to be there tonight, but, they're in spirit and, keeping his memory alive when we mention him as much as we can, as we do with anyone who's passed, unfortunately. So, definitely, a little bit of a somber mood, of course, in the press box. There weren't many folks there because a lot of folks did go to the celebration.
Yeah. Tonight's game. So the Jets, there's no way to not awkwardly transition from that, but I'll just dive right in with the awkward transition. The Jets, as I mentioned, drop a 2-1 decision. It starts before the game, though. I mean, the tribute, I'll give the Jets credit, True North credit.
Yep.
They know how to do these. Lots of organizations do them, and they come off as heavy-handed, or they come off as hokey, or they come off as just maybe overwrought. The Jets hit the right tone. I thought they hit the right tone, and they did a real nice job today with the Connor Hellebuyck salute. And we were talking about this beforehand, about how it's sort of weird that they honored and saluted Connor Hellebuyck, but he didn't play in tonight's game. And I understand why. He's such a creature of habit, and he's got his routines, and that this kind of ceremony right before he was expected to go between the goalposts would not be part of his regular routine. So they let him enjoy the night. They let him, watch Eric Comrie. They don't interrupt his routine. He'll obviously be in the net tomorrow night to face the Colorado Avalanche, but kudos to True North. Kudos to the Jets organization. It was great seeing everybody salute Connor Hellebuyck. Obviously,
how cool was that silver stick? And I love the fact that his kids got a couple mini sticks.
Yeah, those are cool. No way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Those are cool things that can go up on the mantelpiece, or go, get framed and hung on the wall. The things of that nature. Those would be some pretty good souvenirs to have for a while. And of course, anytime you see Dustin Byfuglien, it's great to see.
Well, I was just gonna say it was hilarious.
See you on the water, Dave.
Yeah, see you on the water. But it really was amazing because of course they show like Andrew Kopp and fans go, okay, they're excited, but whatever. Laurent Brossoit, whatever. And then all of a sudden they put on big number 33, and that building,
he's looking big also.
That's fine. He's a big man. But the point is that he still, there's nobody in this city.
Yeah.
That no player, I should say, in this city, maybe with the exception of Connor Hellebuyck, that gets fans to that degree, like number 33. So the fans they're always excited to see and hear from him. Although I have to say a close second, Desi, was Chuck Hellebuyck, international influencer. He got a pretty big cheer as well. So I'd go Byfuglien got the best one. Chuck Hellebuyck, the second best. And then
what about Tinley?
Tinley got the third best, I'd say.
Tinley, I mean, I'm surprised how good Tinley's English is. But I mean, I agree with what Drew said, though. I mean, Connor Hellebuyck, he deserves all of these accolades, and they did this really nicely with the tribute video and the presentation of the silver sticks, and having his family out there and having the entire team around him for the picture. So it was really great. And going back to what Drew said before, I know, Dave, you were there at Canada Life Center today. I was following because obviously Mitch Clinton, a good friend of the show, he was saying Hellebuyck was in his starting routine.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that
pulled a fast one.
Exactly. So it looked like Connor Hellebuyck might start on Hellebuyck night, but obviously, guys, we knew he was going to play. Comrie was going to get one of these games. So everybody, just right off the bat, everybody who's complaining, which I don't think a lot of people are, but I saw a few people in the chat that were questioning it earlier. Comrie was excellent tonight, boys.
Well, I mean, it's not even about, but remember, the other thing that's important to take into account is that Scott Arneal also said they really wanted Hellebuyck against the Avalanche.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think like that's also something to factor in, right? Like that, it's a divisional game. It's more important than tonight's game. Because remember, the Avalanche I think they're 8-2-1 or 8-2, sorry, in their last 10 games. They're
8-1-1 in their last 10.
8-1-1. So there you go. That's even better than what I said.
Yeah.
And the Stars have won 6 in a row. The Minnesota Wild are only 2 points. Well, now they're 3 points back, but I think the Jets have played one more game. Yeah. So the Central Division is tightening up, boys, and these games are critically important because a little bit of a slide, and suddenly what was first place could quickly be fourth. I mean, it's not inconceivable, because they only have a 6-point edge right now on those two hard charging Stars and Avalanche teams.
Dave, the difference between first and fourth by the time the season's over, it's going to be like 5 points, 6
just
points.
like it was last year, it was at the end of the year last year. Remember, if it wasn't for the Jets going on that crazy run at the end of the season, they would have not finished where they finished. I mean, some good it did at the end of it all, but that's going to be very similar.
I also wonder, I mean, the Jets were 4-0 in the first game of a back-to-back, not so good in the second game. So you do wonder that by the way, that information, courtesy of our good friend Paulie Edmonds, who told it to me today at that morning media availability, or walking to it, I should say. And as to the point you were making, it was funny because as I was going down to the Matt Frost media, or to the Jets room, I should say, to do media, I remember looking over and Connor Hellebuyck was in the far corner taking shots. I'm like, why is Connor Hellebuyck still on the ice? Like, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, why is he still out there? He's usually off by this
should have
point.
been tingling at that point.
I don't know. Something was tingling, but it wasn't my spidey sense.
You may want to see a doctor about that in that case.
I'm going to have to, I think.
Doug, and I saw Dom ask the question or pointed out that there was no Blake Wheeler.
Well, it's not like that everybody.
Video. They didn't have everyone, and I would suggest that when it comes to Mr. Wheeler in the organization, time will eventually heal all wounds, but we might not be at that point in time just quite yet, where I think those wounds still might be a little raw, and maybe we're giving both parties distance.
Hold on, Drew. You can ask him yourself. Special guest Blake Wheeler coming on the show.
No, but I mean, Dave just mentioned it, guys. Like, what did they have? They had half a dozen players, 8 players, or something like that. Like, there were, yeah, exactly. So like, there was no Chris Thorburn either. There was no,
but I mean,
I didn't see Brian Little either. I mean, there was like a bunch of players. I'm just saying, like, if they would have had like 25 players, guys, and there was no Blake Wheeler, then okay, maybe you got something. But look, I love Doug. Doug is a good friend of the show, but I think you're kind of looking for something where there isn't something there.
I mean, I think I would have been
Doug and Drew are on the same side of this. Shocking.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if Wheeler was on the tribute video at this point. I don't think that I just think it's going to take time. It's just that simple. It's going to take time. Eventually, time, that, like I said, does heal all wounds, but it's good, time. It might take 5 years, might take 3 years, might take 7 years, however long it takes. Eventually, look, Bret Hart.
There was no Jacob Trouba, Drew, either.
Yeah, but Jacob Trouba doesn't have the same.
You do remember how Dustin Byfuglien left, by the way, right?
I do. I remember,
okay.
But Byfuglien's
just to be clear, it's not like he left on rosy terms.
No, I know, but time heals all wounds. If in that case as well. That's what I'm
Dave,
saying.
I didn't see Olli Jokinen on the tribute video.
Well, that's actually not true, as he actually sent in a video, but he kept swearing so much they couldn't actually have him on. They're like, Olli, enough with the F-bombs, please. It's a family show.
Anyways, okay, let's move on. So the Kings looked like they opened the scoring in the first period, but Matt Prefontaine got paid the big bucks for calling to use an offside challenge that the Jets succeeded with to take the goal off the board. It was a first period goal that didn't end up counting, so the 20 minutes ended 0-0, shots on goal 6-4 in a very boring first period where the high danger chances were 4-1 in favor of the Los Angeles Kings. But good on Matt Prefontaine spotting that offside.
I think we need our own. Matt Prefontaine deserves his own bumper, just like Dave Minuk has his own Minuk Moose Minute bumper. I think Matt Prefontaine
successful
deserves
offside challenge.
Yeah,
with Matt Prefontaine.
Yeah, and there was also Dave had a very funny tweet that there was going to be a Matt Prefontaine appreciation ceremony eventually with all of the goals that have been overturned based on his work. But one of the funniest parts was I was watching the game with my kids. Just the first period before they went to bed, and they were mesmerized that a goal could be called back. Like, they didn't understand it. They're like, why was LA up 1-0 and now the game is still scoreless? So they were like cheering loudly for the fact that goal was disallowed. Thought that was worth mentioning. But yeah, I mean, it was offside. I mean, there's no way anybody knew that was offside originally. Like, that was like a skate. It was very close, but it was offside.
There's no question it was offside, but it also wasn't like it was a fair bit of time before the goal was scored. I mean,
exactly.
It's just anytime the puck enters the zone now, they're just looking for that. Like, they're freezing that play and always looking at it.
The only thing I will say though is that it was more obvious in the building because Mike and Weber, who sit just to my left, were both like pretty vocal, like that's offside. Like as the play started.
Were they talking to Matt Prefontaine directly, or are they
Matt Prefontaine has what they do is they have a little listening device so they can hear what we are saying, what kind of brilliance that we are sharing.
Also, Dave just dropping Kenny and Mike, humble brag over here.
I'm not so sure that'd be my humble brag. Connor Hawerchuk on my right. Now that's a humble brag.
Judy Owen on your left. That's a humble brag.
What's that?
Judy Owen on your left. That's
Judy wasn't there today.
I know, but normally.
Yeah. Normally, Judy would be on my left. That's true.
The power rankings of humble brags, Ken and Mike are way down on the list.
Fair enough.
In any event, 0-0 after 20 minutes.
And by the way, 0-0 and just a boring hockey game.
Yeah, well, you could say it for every period. It was pretty boring.
I texted
first-
Dave.
first two periods.
texted Dave. There was one play. The one high danger scoring chance was David Gustafson made a beautiful. He was on the sideboards. He made a beautiful backhand pass.
Yeah.
To
Morgan Barron.
To Morgan Barron. I almost
Yeah.
said Rasmus Kupari. To Morgan Barron, which resulted in a really good scoring chance. Aside from that, I didn't see anything really to write home about from the Jets. But it was a nifty little pass by Gus Bus, Dave.
That was. He's playing, and he's playing pretty decently. With Appleton out of the lineup, he's had this opportunity, and he certainly hasn't looked out of place. Now, that's the reality of the Jets' fourth line is that those guys are all. None of them look out of place right now. Whatever happens when Mason Appleton's healthy again, time will tell on that front. But
I think there's an argument to be made that Iafallo stays on that third line, boys. He was great tonight, and I think he's been fantastic for several games now.
Yeah.
And I mean, look,
consistent.
There's a good chance Appleton goes back to the third line because those guys have played so much together. But I just think that there's argument to be made that Iafallo has earned the right to stay up on that line. That's all I'm saying.
No argument from me there, Ezzy. I think there's certainly you
don't argue, Drew. Argue with me.
No, you don't have to rush Appleton back, is what it boils down to. The Kings open the scoring at the 4:39 mark of the second period. Alex Turcotte gets his fifth of the year, assist to Adrian Kempe, and Moverare gets the secondary assist on this one as well. Jacob Moverare, the defenseman. It's a nice high tip by Turcotte.
Yep.
Or by Alex Turcotte here. A real nice high tip in the high slot, and you can see that it changes directions on Eric Comrie, and he tries to fight through it, but he's unable to do so. And a real nice tip, real nice goal. Kings lead 1-0, Dave.
Yeah, and just before this, I don't know how soon before, but Logan Stanley went for a big hit along the boards, which allowed the Kings to go in on a breakaway, and Eric Comrie made a real nice save. So, anyone who wants to blame Eric Comrie for tonight's game, I'm with you. Like, I don't know what game. Like, as someone pointed out, I think it was maybe Dan on the broadcast. 11 goals. Jets scored 11 goals in his last 7 appearances. So, he
for a
can't
team that averages 3.5 goals a game, right?
Right. So it is unbelievably bad luck for And look, I don't know what the Jets' expected goals was. Whatever it was after 40 minutes, even into the third, I think it was putrid. I think LA's was like 2.1 and the Jets was below 1. So it wasn't like they were creating and generating. I know they possessed the puck, but again, LA is formidable in prevention. So, yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation for the Jets because, they've got this, you just knew from the perspective of you didn't want to play from behind against this LA team. I just think that it was I don't know that Scott Arneal, I should say, in this morning's media availability didn't specifically lay that out, boys, but there's no question in my mind that you knew that the way they play, one goal is not insurmountable for sure, but like not allowing, but like in going down by more than one would have been, I think, probably a little bit of a death knell in this game. But yeah, it's just like I don't know who to, really isolate. I kind of thought the Jets had good positioning, and then, just a quick, I like the fact that the Kings moved it quickly, and I think it was a bit of an unexpected kind of turn and fire.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of gap between DeMello and Turcotte, and it ends up with a nice deflection that, Comrie reacts, but he's just a fraction of a second too slow. And again, I don't know that he was anticipating that turnaround shot, but good on the Kings, because sometimes when you just try something a little different, you don't try and do the predictable. It ends up, getting the Jets a little bit caught off guard. And I think in this instance, I think it was Kempe, right, who took the initial shot. Yeah. And then Turcotte makes that nice deflection with a little bit of gap in between him and DeMello.
Honestly, guys, I think, Dave mentions there's a bit of a gap between DeMello and Turcotte, right? But Turcotte's coming out so high, Dave, that, like DeMello, like, I just think it's a beautiful tip. And I really don't think Comrie has a lot of chance on that, right? Because like you said, Kempe's spinning around at the blue line and he's putting the shot. So Comrie goes down, which he should, because it would be a low shot. And then it's a tip by Turcotte up high, right? So like, I think sometimes you have to just say, like, that was a nice goal by the Kings. Like,
Yeah, I would agree with you, Ezzy. That's exactly what it was. It was just a nice goal by the LA Kings. They make it 1-0 at that point. The Jets, specifically Mark Scheifele, begins to run into some penalty trouble later on in the second period. Scheifele takes 2 tripping penalties, one at the 12:30 mark, another one at the 17:47 mark. But the Jets PK, perfect on the night, 3 for 3. Maybe a sign because Dylan Samberg's back in the lineup, but that penalty kill certainly is a lot better when he's in the lineup. I thought he didn't miss a beat in coming back and being sort of the Dylan Samberg we've grown to know and love and appreciate for what he brings to the Jets defense, and plays a different style than almost all Winnipeg Jets defensemen, all other Winnipeg Jets defensemen do.
I'll let Ezzy jump in here, but you might want to read. Did you read Connor Hawerchuk's tweet? Because read the stats for Samberg, who, by the way, was the minutes leader, Ezzy, in tonight's hockey game for the Winnipeg Jets heading into overtime.
It's incredible. And Drew, I think, is pulling it up here.
Here it is. Dylan Samberg led the Jets in time on ice before overtime, 22 minutes and 35 seconds. With Samberg on the ice at 5-on-5. The Jets led in shot attempts, 17-7. Scoring chances, 5-2. High danger chances, 2-1. Expected goals percentage, 66.5%. There's no question Dylan Samberg is the second most important defenseman for the Winnipeg Jets.
Second best defenseman, like I've said, going back to last year. And I think the thing that impresses you, he looks like he's in midseason form. Like, he doesn't look like a guy who's missed a bunch of hockey, right? He just looks
half the season.
Exactly. And it's those little things where he just knows when to clear the puck. He knows when to take the puck on the PK. He knows when to make his plays. He knows where to put his stick. His positioning is excellent. He's a big guy. He can handle anybody in front of the net at 6'4", well over 200 pounds, right, boys? So it's just great to see Samberg back in the lineup. It really couldn't come at a better time for the Jets. They need him out there.
And with his transformer boot, which Colby got some good photos of, he was talking about he had to make some modifications to his skate to ensure that he was going to be protected. He said he already had protection on his what?
No, go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna say he already had protection on his skate, but it honestly, like when you actually, Colby took a bunch of photos in the pregame warmup, kind of neat how they wore those jerseys with the 500, 300.
Where are the pictures, Dave? TikTok?
They are not on TikTok, as they are on a little thing called the Illegal Curve Instagram. They'll go check that out. Make sure you're following us. But it was just kind of neat to see the speaking of Dylan Samberg TikTok though, Ezzy, it was pretty funny when Mike
didn't you get? That's why I said that.
No, I realized that's why I know that. That's why I was trying to come back to it. But I was just gonna say, good on Mike McIntyre for asking him about it. I don't know if Jets fans saw it. Go and check out if you want to see the full video, which I didn't clip, you can check that out. Mike McIntyre on Twitter did that, or on Blue Sky.
Well,
but
on Twitter he just linked to
I know I'm saying he linked to it, so you can go check it out from there. But on ours, I have a little clip of the Dylan Samberg while he was recovering from his broken foot, which I talk about even Steven Ezzy and Drew. He played the first 21 games of the season, missed the next 21 games of the season, but the Jets PK was better the last game, and importantly, because had they given up a goal on any of those power plays, I think it's probably unlikely they came back in this hockey game. So the PK coming up big and the PK improving is not insignificant for this Jets team.
Exactly right. An improved PK would certainly do wonders for the Winnipeg Jets. The power play, it can't get better than top in the league. And the LA Kings played with fire one too many times. After Mikey Anderson was offering interference in the third period, a couple minutes later, so about a minute and 20 seconds or so after his penalty expired, Alex Laferriere takes a hooking penalty on Nikolai Ehlers, and it's an absolutely beautiful passing play. Connor to Velarde with just as you heard Scott Arneal say, a pre-scout, knowledgeable backhanded pass to Mark Scheifele, where it looks like he's got eyes in the back of his head, and Scheifele makes no mistake, wiring it into the empty net. And with about just under 10 minutes to go in the third period, the Jets have tied the game up at 1 goal apiece.
Right. And I just thought that the Kings were cheating here. Like, I just thought that they were so focused on Kyle Connor, and rightly so. I mean, Kyle Connor is a top goal scorer in the league, and he's on pace for, if he's not on pace for 50, he's on pace for close to 50. And I just thought that they were cheating. And that's why I think Darcy Kemper was so out of position, because the Jets were moving the puck on the right side and you had Kyle Connor dangling, and then everybody just focused and kind of stopped and thought Gabe Vilardi was obviously going to shoot, and he fooled everybody. And that type of pass to have, I think, Dave, you said eyes in the back of your head on X. That's exactly what it is here. I mean, Gabe Vilardi, I think, knew the whole time he was going to do that. And I mean, obviously Scheifele had the empty net, but just shows you how dangerous the Jets power play is when you have so many different shooting options and you have so many players that other teams have to worry about. So just a great, I guess, misdirection play there by Gabe Vilardi.
And of course, Scheifele putting it into the empty net makes it the
Seagram shot of the game.
Big thanks to our friends at Seagram's for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Seagram's 83 is Manitoba's #1 whiskey. Illegal Curve recommended. So go get it at your local liquor mart or wherever liquor products are sold.
True. I'm not sure I agree with that.
What would you have it be then?
Well, I think the OT winner was a hell of a good shot.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get. I mean, we don't usually give it to the other team.
I don't know about that. We don't call it the Seagram Jets shot of the game. We call it the shot of the game. And I got to tell you, I think the OT winner was the shot of the game with a goalie in the net as opposed to no goalie even close to the net. But I will say that, the one thing I was going to say to just add to Ezzy's is that power play is like poetry. It really is. It is ridiculous watching it. And they had chances in that first one that they, again, and I don't remember where the Kings PK is. I should know this because I wrote about it in the pregame report but I think it
was ninth.
Like ninth. Is it that high?
Sorry.
No, their power play is high. I think their PK.
No, sorry. Their PK. Oh no, their PK was ninth, I think.
Is it the PK is high and the PP is
PK is 10th.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So
tied for 9th, as he's right. Tied for 9th with the Devils. So of course, as he knew that.
Okay, fair enough. He's going to start regaling us with Stanley Cup.
The power play is not good, Dave. I think it's bottom.
Yeah,
bottom
you're
10.
Right. Yeah. So
power
the
play is 28th.
Yeah, which makes sense, obviously, because they don't score very often, right? But the just a really nice movement, and Vilardi's. I mean, he's got a career high. That was his career high in assists with 19. And Mark Scheifele, guys, 24 goals on the season in what was this game 43?
Yep.
And if you look at what he had last year, he had 25 in 72. So Mark Scheifele, it's not inconceivable, to quote the Princess Bride, that he could hit 50 this year alongside Kyle Connor.
Yeah, that's certainly not inconceivable whatsoever. Bottom half and the back half of the third period, nothing else happened. Both teams seemed quite content to play it safe and get the game into overtime, which is what happened. The Jets certainly had their opportunities in overtime. Kyle Connor certainly had a good opportunity, but the LA Kings come back down the other way. Mark Scheifele is back. Neil Pionk is back, or Scheifele is struggling to get back. He's completely gassed. Far too long of a shift at about 75 seconds for him. Didn't get to change. The LA Kings take advantage. Adrian Kempe. The Kings don't score much, but Kempe is certainly one of the guys who can score for them. This is his 20th of the year assist to Brandt Clark and Anze Kopitar. And you're absolutely right, Dave. It could very well have been the Seagram shot of the game because it was an absolute bullet by Kempe to give the Kings the 2-1 victory and bring a little bit of joy and celebration and maybe a bit of a good distraction for the good people in Los Angeles, who, of course, are suffering through the horrendous wildfires that are taking effect in Southern California.
It's absolutely frightening and tragic what is going on down in the Los Angeles area. I think, again, can't really awkwardly transition from that, but before that goal was scored, I think we should go back to the first 10 seconds of overtime when the Jets had a 2-on-1. Connor had a decent scoring chance, and then 50 seconds later, Connor had a really good scoring chance, and Darcy Kemper had to make I forget if it was a glove save or a pad save, and the Jets came back. And as Drew mentioned, Scheifele and Connor in a 3-on-3 situation, you're out there a little bit too long, and unfortunately, Connor goes off. And to me, it looked like Scheifele kind of was trying to follow him, and he decided kind of at the last seconds, like, I can't go off as well. And then that led to a 2-on-1 with Kempe and Kopitar. And then you saw Neil Pionk, I think because there was a line change for the Kings before that that he thought that there might have been too many men on the ice. But on review, I talked to Drew about this right before we went live here. It wasn't too many men on the ice. But
and look, you don't have to believe me. Believe the Jets head coach. Scott Arneal was asked that question, and he said no, it was legitimate.
Exactly.
It looked it. I saw it. You look at the replay, but it is bang bang. But Scott Arneal said it's a trust the Jets head coach. Don't trust me. If you think it's still offside, good luck to you and all the power to you.
Yeah, and again, I mean, that's just, it shows you guys how quickly things can happen in 3-on-3 overtime, a bad line change, and that's, I'm not blaming this on Kyle Connor, but I mean, I think you can blame the fact that maybe they just stayed on a little bit too long, and then they just got caught a little bit flat-footed, and like we said, 2-on-1 rush at overtime. We know more likely than not what happens when you have odd man rushes in overtime.
Yeah,
I'm not going to add much other than just way too long shifts. I mean, it's you really need to concentrate on short shifts. I understand the desire to
30 seconds, maybe 40.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. And then when you see that it's already the first minute has elapsed and they're into the second minute now and they're still on the ice, that's where you have to just pause, get the puck back to Comrie or to the defenseman.
Yeah,
reset, get it. You're just not serving a purpose. Yeah. That's in my mind. And again, like I said, is it the end of the world? No, it's not. But again, it may have cost you 2 points.
34 seconds for Morrissey, 75 seconds for
I'm talking about
Scheifele
and Connor.
And Scheifele, yeah. So there you go. I mean, he little more awareness by Morrissey there to get off and everything else. In any event, the Jets earn the 1 point. They improve, to 1-1-2 so far in this 8-game homestand. So a bit of a weird record, not the success you'd necessarily expect from a team that had been tremendous on home ice. They're gaining some points, not all the points. They get another opportunity tomorrow night against the Colorado Avalanche, the back-to-back against the division rival here in downtown Winnipeg. When we come back, we'll preview the morning's Illegal Curve Hockey Show. We'll talk about the Jets and the Avs briefly. Much more to come. Don't go anywhere. It's a Friday night. Drew Mandel, Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg. The Illegal Curve post-game show is presented by PlayNow.
We want to thank you for not betting with PlayNow and choosing our illegal gambling site instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with PlayNow, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Center. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime, visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Center. Holt Dental, the new official dentist of Illegal Curve, has a philosophy rooted in 2 unyielding principles: genuinely caring about patients and providing outstanding service. Being a patient of Holt Dental means more than just checkups and treatments. It's taking the time to listen and talk to each patient so they can achieve the best long-term health, functionality, and aesthetics for their teeth, mouth, and gums. Conveniently located at Grant Park Festival on Taylor Avenue, Holt Dental is dentistry of the highest quality in a comfortable and relaxed environment. For more information, visit holtdental.ca. Oh, and there's plenty of free parking at the front door, too. Celebrating its 40th year as Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best and most affordable live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For more information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
This January at Boston Pizza, every day is Pasta Tuesday. That means BP's famous pastas start at just $11.99 every single day. Create your own or go gourmet for just a few bucks more. Come on in for Pasta Tuesday pricing any day. Only this January at Boston Pizza.
11 o'clock, top of the hour. Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting tired, and considering we have to do another show in about 10 hours' time, and then another post-game show in about 7.5 hours after that, or maybe not 7.5 hours, close enough. You know, it's going to be time to wrap this one up is sort of what I was saying there. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. We're going to be joined by Sarah Orlesky to talk about the Jets. We're going to be joined by Jeff Merrick. Look around the NHL as well. So real excited to welcome Sarah, of course, and Jeff Merrick to the broadcast tomorrow, 9 a.m. back here on our YouTube channel. I saw some people were asking about when we're next going to be live on location. Well, good thing you just asked. We will be at City Place on Tuesday. That's this coming Tuesday, the 14th of January, 12 noon. Jets, Canucks Tuesday night. We will preview the Jets and the Canucks as part of our live broadcast on location at City Place in the food court. So be sure to join us on Tuesday in downtown Winnipeg. City Place will cover the Jets and the Canucks ahead of the tilt later on that night.
Oh, sorry, Drew. I'm hearing just now from our producer that JT Miller and Elias Pettersson are actually going to be also in the City Place food court in the octagon in a bare knuckle fight. Yeah.
Yeah, good looking. Well, we're looking forward to that. So we can do live coverage of their Octagon UFC battle on Tuesday. So be sure to join us there.
True. I'm concerned that Ezzy's hearing voices because we don't actually have a producer speaking to him. So he may be hearing voices.
As long as the voices aren't telling him to burn anything, Dave, then I'm okay with that.
Wait, Ezzy, was it a voice sound like Timmy? Because maybe he's producing us right now and I'm unaware.
I was going to say, what do you mean we don't have a producer? We have producer Timmy.
Well, we do only for live shows, which is this is a live show, but a live on location show, I should say.
No,
but we'll be there on Tuesday. I checked in with him earlier.
See, look at Colby Spence right away. He comes to Timmy's defense.
There you go. Colby knows where Colby.
You really should say it like though they say it on South Park.
They say what?
Timmy. You don't watch? Do you really not watch South Park?
No, I mean I've watched South Park. I don't watch it regularly now. Sorry, I mean I know they killed Kenny, but I haven't kept up.
Move on. South Park is way too current for Drew.
Yeah,
Drew's
more like a foghorn leghorn type of guy.
Thank you, Ezzy. Good reference. All righty. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Dave, save your Manuk Moose minute for tomorrow.
Did you hear me? I didn't say a word.
I know. Save it for tomorrow. I want to do it in more detail because the Moose are on a bit of a heater. No, do not hit that button.
I'm tired.
I'm a bit of a heater, so we'll talk about it tomorrow morning.
And I don't want T. Conapoli to be given short shrift.
Yeah.
So we've already gone. We've got a good show. We've got another one coming tomorrow. I want an extended one tomorrow.
You can have an extended one. Don't worry. As he can press the button, he can practice pressing the button tonight after the show ends so that he's prepared for tomorrow. Thanks to everyone for joining us here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Big thanks to Eric Hawerchuk joining us as well. Special guest. That was fun to have Eric on this Friday night. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast, leave us feedback here, there, and everywhere regarding this fine program. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Get some rest, get some sleep. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Then we'll see you again tomorrow night. For Dave Manuk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. This has been the Illegal Curve post-game show presented by PlayNow. Until tomorrow at 9 a.m., we wish you good night and good luck.